Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing okay. So I make YouTube videos about what it's like being a 6-foot tall woman. If you're new to my channel, I'm a 6-foot tall woman and I live in Manhattan. My dad was 6'9" and my mom was 5'6". They had 8 children together, and 7 of the 8 range from 6 feet, which is me, to 6'9". So in my other YouTube videos, I probably made it seem like there are no positives to being a tall woman. There are positives to being tall. It's just that the negative experiences to being tall for me just started a few years ago, just out of nowhere, and it caught me off guard, and it's been bothering me lately. I know it's not just me that stuff like this happens to, so I thought it would help to just make videos about it and to get it out. Okay, so as a 6-foot tall woman, when you are a tall woman, there's a dichotomy to being tall. When I say tall, I'm referring to 6 feet and taller, because women who are 5'10" and 5'11", I'm not sure if they experience the same thing that 6 foot and taller women experience. I'm not positive that we have the same experiences. My friends who are 5'10", they don't deal with any of the aggression that I deal with. They have no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm not sure if tall women under 6 feet deal with what 6 feet and taller tall women deal with. Like I said, that there are positives to being a tall woman. Okay, so I'll just name a few of them. I do get threatened with physical violence pretty often, and I have been getting threatened with physical violence since I was 13, not just because I was tall, but always due to people being jealous of me for different reasons, and I'll tell you more about that later. But I think because of my height, people are unlikely to actually act on it. Like, I'm not fast, I'm not strong. Tall women are not physically stronger than adult men. Everyone thinks that we are just because we're the same size as them. We don't have as much muscle as them. We don't have as much testosterone as them. We're not as fast as them. We're not as strong as them. At the same time, if somebody physically assaults me, I'm not going to just sit there and take that. I'm going to do my best to defend myself. So because of my height, like, I get threatened with physical violence by people that are upset that their mother didn't pick somebody taller. So they lash out at people whose mothers did pick somebody taller. I get threatened with physical violence by them pretty often, but I believe because of my height, or, because of my size, that they're unlikely to actually act on it, and no one ever has actually acted on it. So that's one upside. So as a tall woman, like, there's a dichotomy that you live with. Some people see your height as super attractive. Some people see it as super unattractive. You get encounters from both kinds of people. So I often get called beautiful, gorgeous, statuesque, model-esque, as well as tall bitch, manly, and transgender. Like, I get all those comments regularly. For the past 6 years, I've mostly been getting insults, but back in 2018, that's when the insults for me started out of nowhere. But then at the exact same time in 2018, that's when people that have been mean to me for years started pulling me to the side and saying, I always wanted to be tall. I always wanted to look like that. You have a beautiful height. I don't have a beautiful height. I will always be jealous of your height, always. I want to be tall. I want to be tall. People that have been mean to me for years started pulling me to the side and saying that to me. And this was back in 2018, right around the same time that people started hurling insults at me for being tall. So I'm like, okay, what's with this recent height obsession? But then I found out later that it's connected to, like, the black pill and the red pill and the incel community making a big deal about being tall. And it's also connected to the fact that women swipe left on men under 6 feet on dating apps. And so that's caused all this attention to become focused on being tall. So that's where the insults are coming from. Prior to 2018, rarely did anybody ever insult my height. When I was younger, when somebody wanted to insult me, they exclusively would make negative comments about my skin tone, about me being dark skinned. And I wore a lot of hand-me-downs when I was younger. And so if somebody wanted to say something negative about me, they would either comment on my hand-me-downs or they would comment on my skin tone. And I didn't grow up poor, I just wore a lot of hand-me-downs. But part of me is grateful for that, because I never developed, like, a complex about my height. Like, people just didn't make a big deal about my height when I was younger. It just didn't happen. From age 4 straight to age 25, everyone has always made a big deal about me being thin. That's been the case throughout most of my life. And at one point, people made a big deal about me being fit. And I've had, like, groups of people just obsess over me to the point where it got out of hand That happened a lot, especially when I was younger. Nowadays, groups of people like classmates and coworkers, I haven't had a large group of people single me out in maybe about 6 years. But then for the past 6 years, it's been random people walking, like strangers walking past me and making comments. But I guess that's a little bit easier to deal with because once they walk past me, I'm never going to see them again. I'm sorry. Which is a little bit easier to deal with than like coworkers and classmates that I have to be around all day, every day, singling me out and getting other people to join in. So, I guess it's a little bit easier to deal with. But yeah, so I get compliments and insults, but lately for the past 6 years, it's mostly been insults. From age 4 to age 25, I exclusively got compliments on my height, and maybe once every 5 or 6 years, somebody insulted my height. And I'm not even exaggerating. That only happened once every 5 or 6 years from age 4 all the way to age 25. 25 is when I moved to New York City. That's when I started lifting weights and people started making a big deal about me being fit, and it generated a lot of jealousy. My classmates were like obsessed with me. They were obsessed with my Facebook page and my Instagram, but they also kept attacking me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, in person. And so after I graduated, finished grad school, I had to kick a lot of people out of my life because I don't feel comfortable allowing people to have access to my life that are jealous of me. That makes me very uncomfortable. It's not that I'm angry. It's just I don't feel comfortable having you in the picture. So, but then, yeah, from age 25 to age 30, the people I was around, classmates, coworkers, they made a big deal about me being fit because that was when I started lifting weights. And then from age 30 to age 36, which is right now, that's the past 6 years, it's been all this attention has been focused on me being tall. So I've gotten plenty of validation over the years for being tall, throughout most of my life. And I'm glad that I have. Like, the foundation has been set. So these negative comments that I've been getting lately, I don't internalize them. Like, when I was younger, me being thin was a really big deal. But no one ever actually hurled insults at me. Like, no one ever insulted me for being thin. They never insulted me for being tall. There were people that were jealous. There were people that were jealous and they were mean to me, but they never actually hurled insults at me. That just started. That was the year that I turned 30 back in 2018. So that was a new thing for me because I'm like, some of the comments were coming from men and women. But then, like I said, women were pulling me to the side and admitting that they always wanted to be tall. And I'm like, since when do women want to be tall? Like, women my height, we like being tall, but at the same time, even like the thin, pretty ones that look like models, we like being tall. But even the thin, pretty ones that look like models will tell you that life is easier as a woman when you're not tall. Your life is just a lot easier. Yeah, I like being tall though. Like, if I could, I don't know if I would, I would not choose to not be tall, but I'm not positive I would choose to be 6 feet. Like, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, because it does have what I call the wow factor, and the wow factor is a bit of an ego boost, but then the wow factor, it comes with like a lot of negativity. But I never got treated like a giant monster for being tall. That never happened. For me, it was more so people acting as if I stole something from them, which kind of and it's like weird because people get aggressive with me because they want my height, and I've had people admit it. And part of it makes me feel like I won the lottery, because that's how everyone acts. Like, I won the lottery, like I struck gold being tall. And I kind of feel that way, and it's kind of an ego boost, but that doesn't mean that I'm okay with getting attacked. But, like I said, I don't internalize it. The foundation was set when I was younger, so I like being tall. I come from a tall family. I think people on social media pick something different to obsess over every few years, so I think I just have to wait for the time to come where this height obsession passes, and I think it's going to pass eventually. Anyways, like and share, leave me your comments below. There's positives and negatives to being a tall woman. I still like being tall. Most tall people like being tall. It's got its pros, it's got its cons. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, so everybody thinks. There's downsides to it. And just because you're tall and thin and pretty like a model, that doesn't mean that your life is on easy mode like models. When you look like a model but you live in the regular world, your life is actually on difficult mode because people resent the fact that you naturally look like that, and they think it's their responsibility to make you suffer. And that is the truth. So let me know your thoughts. More videos coming soon. Stick around. Bye.